You know what's so cool about this online world that we live in is that we get to meet so many people through our devices and bring people into our lives that we might otherwise not get to meet any other way. And many of you in my audience who regularly watch and comment on my videos are really starting to feel like an extended online family to me. And there's one woman who I met originally in person through a women's networking group, but we live kind of far apart. So I've gotten to know her through Facebook and through all the positive energy that she brings every day to my newsfeed. I look forward to it in the morning. And she is such an example of achievement, determination, enthusiasm. Her energy is so incredibly generous, and I love her story, and I know that she's going to leave you inspired to be your absolute best self and to really just go for your dream. Hey there, I'm Nafissa Shireen, success coach and business strategist for entrepreneurs, and welcome to Living Forward TV, where we help you to create a thriving business you absolutely love all around your personal freedom. Our guest today is Sandra Rechsteiner. She's a passionate and transformational leader, and she massively infects everyone around her with her enthusiasm for life, her drive to achieve, and her instinct to help others to really reach their full potential. She's also addicted to Swiss chocolate. I kind of like that. She's addicted to her family and to ultimate freedom, and she inspires thousands of people around the world every day. For 17 years, though, she worked as a top authority in talent management. But in 2012, she decided to follow her heart and her dream, and she committed to the importance of making every single day count. She broke away from the corporate world, and she and her husband and her son left Switzerland in pursuit of living a life on purpose. She has now found her calling. She is an author. She is the host of her own podcast called Accomplish Now, and she's a network marketing professional, one of the leading ones. She describes herself as a wife, a mom, a friend, a serial entrepreneur, a marathon finisher, a cancer crusher. She's a voice of difference. She is a message of hope. She is a solution of freedom. And she's a teacher of possibilities. And she's with us here today. Sandra, welcome to Living Forward TV.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you here too. I feel like I've really gotten to know you through my screen, and it's so cool. And I'm not kidding. I really do look forward to it every morning. I get up and I look through the feed, and we can control our news feed. And so, you're there, follow, because it always makes me happy to see you on my news feed. And everything about you speaks about possibility, speaks about achievement. You always see the brighten things. And I'm just glad that you came here, because that's what Living Forward's all about to me. And what I'd love to ask you, and I ask all of our guests this, is what does Living Forward mean to you?
It just excites me that you ask me forward. So what does it mean to me? It comes to my mind like live out loud, create the magic, go for your dreams. And you know what? Just live, just go for it. And if you fail, if you fall, just get up. What did I learn from it?
Yeah.
Suck it up, princess, and just go again, right? Because at the end, your biggest obstacles are your greatest gifts. So
yeah, and you really have a story of always moving forward. And when we look at your whole, your whole life, and it's like a big adventure. And I love seeing all the stories you post and a lot of the inspiration you post. And, and I'd like to kind of start at the beginning. I don't even know quite what's the beginning, so we won't be jumping all over the place, but I'm thinking, going back to Switzerland and having a corporate job, because a lot of our viewers have come from corporate roles and they're starting their own business and they might lack confidence, and some are thinking about doing it. I know quite a few of you that watch this are thinking and waiting to make that move. So you not only left your corporate job, you left the country. So let's talk about that.
It's a good point. Yes. Corporate job. Gosh, it was an amazing time, right? It was scary to give it up, honestly. And just because it was a safe space. Yeah. Right, I worked for over 15 years in talent management, corporate world, international companies, right, human resource management, and it was safe and I loved it. But you know what? There was just something, a lack of meaning, a purpose, and I never dared to jump until life taught me so many lessons that I just said, let's do it, right? But I had to jump. It was not easy, but I did.
And so when you left, was that around the same time that you came to Canada, or was there some space in between that?
Good point. Yes. Actually, in between. You just said your viewers, they, start thinking of, starting a business.
Yeah.
I did the jump to start my own business in Switzerland. Okay. So, but that was the first jump I did. And then I realized that I just employed myself. It was kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was not yet, something was missing. And then I totally left the corporate world when we jumped and totally started from scratch here in Canada. Yeah, I left everything behind. It was scary, but so worth it.
What was the pull to come to Canada? Switzerland's quite beautiful.
I know. It is a beautiful country, and I'm Swiss made, so it's always a part of me, but Canadian in my heart. So yes, so the pull was really, my story back then. I had a health story, and I made a promise to myself that I just, this is a second chance. I want to just feel fulfilled. It was a lack of meaning and purpose in life that I had no clue what it is, but it was that feeling. So we just left because back then my husband was also, in transition. So he quit his corporate job as well.
So you both?
We both.
They both
did.
Quit.
Both. And in his case, he really had no clue what to do, right? Really no clue. So we ended up first in Canada because he was, 6 months. And we fell in love with Canada and we had to go back.
Okay.
And then we realized, now we are back. And what you get a job again? No, this is not it. So we applied and we said, we need to jump, right? Because we felt so amazing. We had the best time ever here.
Yeah.
The best.
And so when you came back, did you know what you were going to be doing here?
No. And that was the scary part because our son was back then 11, right? So it's always, people say, you need to have a job. Are you not doing this, right? Right? And I often was scared because if it just would have been the two of us, without the responsibility, we could have done, skiing instructor, doing this, sometimes, survive.
Yeah.
But we just didn't know. We had no clue. We just knew we had to downsize, really low cost, right? And give us time to reinvent ourselves. Completely unknown. Yes.
And it really sounds to me like, one of the biggest changes in our life is making a decision. And a decision isn't just something in your head. It's evidenced by your action, by your checkbook and your calendar. And so, when you make the decision, you figure it out afterwards.
I love it. I had just chills. That's exactly the point. It's just that moment, a defining moment. Changes everything because you will always find a solution. Always.
Yes.
There's always a solution, but as long as you don't decide exactly.
Yeah. And you have to be able to believe in yourself, because that's the one thing that I think, governments can change, the weather can change, a natural disaster can happen, economies can change, markets can go up and down, oil can go up and down, that we can always say, well, that's going to affect our ability to make a decision. Or I can't do that because I'm the main breadwinner in the house. Well, both of you did it together. And
so true, yeah.
I find that really inspiring. I do talk to a lot of people that sometimes say they're afraid to make that decision, or they're the main breadwinner and they don't know what to do. What would you tell them if somebody is sitting here watching this today that just says, I want to go start my own thing? Like, what advice would you give them?
The first thing is you have to be willing to sacrifice. You have to be willing to give up the nice things, right? Maybe I would do it, the status, the things that you possess, right? Everything that you have worked hard for, but not really feel it. You need to be willing to sacrifice. And then just knowing that there is so much more out there, because at the end, you have just that one life, right? And you need to feel the vibes every single day, and you need to feel the joy every single day, right? And the meaning and the purpose, even if you don't know yet what it is. And that's the scary part, but it just sets you free at the moment when you decide to, right? And then you always thought, what's the worst thing that can happen? Okay, the worst thing that could happen, we have to go back to Switzerland. Is that so bad? No. And
I love that, right? Because really, and when we look at what the worst thing that can happen, and I've talked about this recently too, if we actually sit and think about the worst thing that can happen, we actually kind of know the worst is probably not going to happen. And so the worst thing in our mind, half the time it just comes down to facing other people to say it didn't work.
Thank you.
Right?
That's exactly the point.
It's like, then I have to tell everyone it didn't work. And we're more afraid of that than the work, because you can handle it. When you actually put it on paper and do the math, it's like, I I could do that. I could go back to work. I could figure this out. I could get a different business. I could do something different, right? Now, you said in your bio that you made this commitment to making every day count. And I'm piecing together here from what I know of your story. I'm curious if that has something to do with the health diagnosis that you received. And you did something pretty incredible. You cured yourself from cancer.
Yes.
Yes.
And it makes me, thank you. Yes.
Would you talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, of course, sure. Coming back to your first question, yes. I believe it had to do everything with my health story, right? Because I know there are many people out there, life happens, right? We all have those events happening that just shape us.
Yeah.
The nasty ones, right? But looking back, we always know, wow, they taught us amazing lessons. Yes. And so, my son was 2.5 years old when I got diagnosed with terminal cancer. And I remember the day really good. It was actually on my birthday. I was before Christmas that I found out, Christmas or decades ago, before they found out that it was not the cancer that you can cure.
Okay.
So we had to go back on my birthday. I remember it so good to find out what we are going to do. And I remember that office in that, we waited for the doctor, my husband and I, and it was that silence, when you had that silence, you don't talk, you're just kind of in shock. We were just there, and the doctor came in and she said, you know what, there's nothing you can do. You could be university child, blah, 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 blah. Then you can 3 more months and all that stuff. And I was sitting there and I was in shock. And I remember my husband took my hand, and without knowing, without talking to one another, right, he just grabbed my hand, and we knew instantly we had to get out and move. We have to leave now. She was running, chasing us after, and you can't do it, and whatever. And so I was running out, and that moment when he stepped out of that hospital, that was the most amazing moment in my life, because I cannot describe it, because we were walking in silence, but this time it was that silence that, gave you hope, that gave you the energy again, that gave you the confidence that I got this. I kind of felt I had no clue how, but I got this. And I felt free, because at that moment, if you have nothing to lose,
wow,
hey, everything opens up. And you're not scared anymore what other people think. You're not scared anymore, what's the worst thing that can happen, right? That you are dead tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? And everything else becomes so easy peasy, compared.
That's
so
really
yes,
profound.
It was a defining moment. Absolutely. And it shaped everything what happened after. Absolutely.
And when I hear what she says, I get goosebumps, because that's just, when I ask what's the worst that can happen, I've never really taken it to that level. When you're facing that the worst that could happen is death, then what is the worst that could happen on anything else that you're doing? So how did you, you were told it was incurable. It was 11 years ago?
Yeah.
And now you're sitting here today, radiant, healthy, an example for so many people. What did you do?
So I chose, I decided to just follow my intuition, right? So, and I did many things. Long story short, I basically went the holistic way. Vitamin way, doesn't matter. I always say people, if you feel that this is the right way, whatever you do in life, then it is the right way for you. And maybe it's not the right way for you, but maybe for you, So I did that and lots of mindset work, right? I believe, it was all, I believe today was all mindset work, right? And
that's what you said, right? Like the technique didn't matter. It was what went on inside. And if it's right for you, but you have to believe that.
Totally.
And so what did you learn about yourself and the power of belief through this process?
Powerful, yeah. So I learned so many things. I learned that I can trust myself. Right, and that I can love myself as well for everything, and that I am stronger, and I believe everyone is stronger than we think, right? And there's so much power in everyone if we just enlighten that. If you just have that, vision and that goal and that faith, it's just you become unstoppable, right? And I know for a fact, because I work with people all over the world, that is within everyone, right? And so it's an enlightening.
when you talk about, living every day on purpose and making every day count, I see that through your posts and your feeds and interacting with you. When I've seen you in person, like the very first time I ever saw you was at a networking event, and you were at I can sometimes get lost in a crowd because there's so many people, right? And you stood up for something, and I was like, wow, that woman looks so happy. That was all I could think. And you were far, far away. I didn't know your name. I didn't know anything, but your joy kind of radiated through the room. So how do you choose to make every day count and to have that like incredible joy that is just touches everything you do?
It's a good question. So I believe the defining moment was right after the diagnosis, when my husband and I, my 2.5-year-old son, you have nothing to lose, right? And we just left for 7 months to Australia. We gave up everything as well, right? Because you don't know if we come back. And being away for those 6-7 months, away from my rat race that I used to be in, right?
Were you in a corporate job at that time?
Corporate job, okay. Right? Even I was running my own coaching, training business and everything. And it was that kind of rat race that I didn't mind. But obviously my body said stop, because
there was subconscious stress there about it, right?
There was, absolutely. And so it was just being away and just realizing how much joy I also, I took care of my body and my health first. And I just at that moment I was selfish, but in a healthy way. And so when I realized that, it was a whole body feeling that took over, right? That I every day is a gift.
Yeah.
Right? And so since ever then, I think it's ingrained, because it is a gift. I wake up really every day is a gift.
And I think we can, and I think many of us as entrepreneurs, especially, sometimes things don't always go well, right? Like entrepreneurship is like this. And it can be so easy to forget that it's a gift and to feel drudgery, or to if a launch fails or an email doesn't go out, to sit and cry and make a big deal about it, when really none of that stuff matters. It's just stuff on the way to getting what you want. None of it matters, but every day is a gift. I remember a few years ago, and I don't know if I knew you back then or if you knew this story, a friend of mine helped me out with my horse. And as you know, my horsemanship journey has been a journey, because I've had to go from fear to comfort and trust. And this was right in the beginning. It was just a few years ago when I'd fully taken my horse on, and I was doing what we call lunging him. So that's getting him on a line and going in a circle. And if you're not used to horses, that can be really intimidating, because they're kind of galloping around you. Yeah. Well, he turned on the line and went the other way, scared me to death, right? And I was by myself. It was pouring rain, and like we're in Vancouver here, so we get rain, and it was almost coming sideways. I packed him up and I went right back to the barn. And a friend of mine, he came down, he had a horse at the barn at the time, and he did not have rain gear on. He was just stopping to do something. And he took one look at me and he said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Oh, my horse did this and this." He's like, "Oh, he doesn't get to not work." I said, "I can't take him back out." He goes, "Give him to me." He took him out, worked him, made him realize, that you don't get out of work by being a bad horse. And he worked him, and gave him the exercise he needed, gave me what I need, helped get the horse into the right frame of mind in the pouring rain for almost 45 minutes. Wow. He didn't have the right clothes on. He was only there for a few minutes. And I was so appreciative, but in that moment I was also still scared and shaking. So when he left, I was like, "Thank you." And I made a mental note to myself, next time I see him, I'm going to buy him a bottle of wine. Next time I saw him was at his funeral.
I have chills now.
Yeah. And that was a real...
Wow.
Yeah. He got sick. He passed away rather quickly. And I never forgot that, thinking like, wow, what would I have done differently? I was so appreciative, but I was too caught up in my own stuff. What would I have done differently if in that moment I knew I was never going to see him again? I would have hauled him down to the pub right there, right? And it made me realize, wow, you've got to appreciate people then and there. And, and that's also why I love your story, because it just reminds you, right? Like, you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring.
And I love that, because, appreciation, gratitude, an attitude of gratitude, right?
Yeah.
For the little moments.
Yes.
I mean, this is a big moment, what he did for you, right?
Yeah.
But it could be just a smile at the baker because she just put a smile on your face, or you just do good for someone else.
Yeah.
Because
you don't know what's going on in their world that day.
You don't know. And as you said, right, we are so busy, caught up with our stuff, just to forget the moments and appreciate the people around you. Because I believe, as you said, if we all, appreciate one another, the little things.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I mean, there is just magic all over the world if we do that.
Right.
But we're so busy with ourselves.
Yes.
So that's a powerful story.
And and I remember because he had passed away, I think on Boxing Day, the day after Christmas. We call it Boxing Day here in Canada. And so his celebration of life was a couple of weeks later. And as we start a new year, everybody's talking about making the best year ever, making the best year ever. And that was the year I thought, pardon my language, was screw the best year ever. Not suitable for kids, but we're honest on Living Forward TV. I thought, let's make every day the best day ever. Because if you're so busy trying to make it the best year, you might forget about the moments along the way. And that's something as entrepreneurs, it can be really easy to do, that we forget to enjoy the journey. We forget to thank people along the way because we're so focused, and we want to be focused on our goals. Absolutely. But if we're just saying, I'm going to make this the best year, instead of I'm going to make this the best day, and then tomorrow the best day, and then tomorrow the best day, different.
It's a different attitude. And as an entrepreneur, we love to hustle, right?
Yes.
And I always say, hustle is for me not stress. I don't like the word stress. It's kind of a cool word for some people to use. I don't like it because stress is something that drags out the energy. And if you hustle, it's something you love to do because you could do it forever, right?
Yeah, you release your energy.
You release your energy because you're in your element. But still, the hustle, if you're grinding, it's just, we leave out that so many things around us. And I just also realized that if there's so much, at the moment when I decided to let in some more joy in my life, more fun, easy going, because I am a grinder. That was my lesson learned, right?
Yeah.
So that's something that comes easy. As soon as I let more joy into my life, everything flows easier.
And I've noticed that joy and success are kind of working together for you, right? So one of the things that I want to talk to you about too is entrepreneurship. You are a leader in the network marketing world, and you are so inspiring, and I love how you do it. And I know that some people maybe have not positive feelings about network marketing, but it is a legitimate business, and it is something that can give men and women freedom. But what I love about the particular business you're working for is it allows women to make a very, 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 very small investment that can change their lives, and you're successful. And I would never ever consider what you do to be hustle, but you're always going. And it just looks like it's just every day you get up and you have fun changing people's lives and changing your own. So I would love to know a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey, how you chose network marketing, and how you help people with that too.
Good point. Yes. And so thanks for letting me share that. So coming from a corporate world, having a traditional business as a coach, human resource management trainer, talent management, right? Leaving all that for network marketing, you're like, what are you doing, right? And so I am so grateful that I was open to this business model, right? So, and the thing is really, there was a moment in time, when we left Canada and I kind of reinvented myself. I can just talk for myself. My husband is on the same journey. We started doing a lot of personal development work, training and everything. And I started my own business again. And then I realized, I'm still trading money for hours, right? And so this was my aha moment when I got educated, and I just wanted to have an impact, to have meaning and purpose in life.
Yes.
But also I wanted the freedom, to create the freedom for myself and for others, right? The rat race, which I've experienced back then. And so this business model allows me exactly to do that while coaching. I'm a coach, I'm a mentor with women in international scene. Yes, I got all the skills, skill set. I can use all the skill set.
Well, and what I love is you call it a business model. And I think this is really important. If those of you who might be thinking, maybe I could do this, but what are people going to think? When you think of something like a network marketing model, it's just a distribution model, right? It's a company.
Bingo.
You're working for it a different way as your own boss. So if other companies out there, they have distribution channels and chains and all the different ways.
Anyway.
Network marketing is just another way to do it.
Exactly.
And it takes a lot of the other players out and gives men and women the ability to own their own business, choose how much money they're going to make, whether they're going to do it full-time, part-time.
Absolutely.
Sell the product, build a team. And you get to use all your skills, your business development skills, your human resource skills, your talent management, your coaching skills.
Totally.
And you just happen to have a product at the end of it, right?
A good one. No, you just nailed it. That's exactly the point. Thank you. Yeah. That's it. You just nailed it. At the end, of course, every business, also traditional business owner, has either a service or a product.
Exactly.
We all are in the same boat.
Exactly.
Right? And this is our feature. This is what we stand behind. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, it's so way much more than the product or the service.
Yeah,
right?
It's the business and the people in it and who you are behind it, whether it is coaching, network marketing, distribution, computers, devices, right? It's all about our brand, our values, what we stand for.
Yes.
And so, you've built up quite a big team. And so you've got people all over the world. How far does that go?
So the company that I'm with, we are in 12 countries. Growing super, super fast. And my team is in 7 countries. So it's kind of, I love the international thing. And that was always my thing, right? Because I was traveling and I love the freedom to create just mainly on social media, work from everywhere and connect and build those relationships online, right? I mean, no matter in which business model you're in, that's the beauty about, helping people all over the globe. That's specifically women in my case.
And what's what would you consider the biggest transformation of some of your team members that have worked with you? What's brought you the most joy in watching them? Okay,
so this might be emotional because it always makes me emotional because it's a part, coming from a human resource background, I always was, my passion was always, seeing potential in others and seeing them thrive. That's something that fills my heart, right? But in the corporate world, there was always, this kind of thing. And here it's really, you want other women have that transformation and become and grow beyond. It's just, and when this happens, that confidence boost, you can just see it in their eyes, right? You can see it when you work daily with them. They have that shift that they all of a sudden they acknowledge and they own their greatness because they put themselves out there on Facebook Lives, on videos, on social medias. It needs a lot of courage as an entrepreneur itself that we talk about our products, that we share our passion, right? It's a passion. And this needs a lot of courage and to see the confidence level when those women just go beyond, right? That growth is priceless.
Yes.
This is the personal growth part, right? This is why that keeps me going every day.
Well, and I just love watching your Facebook Lives because you just don't take it too seriously. And
you can say that,
and when I say it that way, I mean it's like you take your business seriously, but you don't take yourself or the ups and downs seriously. You just get on there and you have fun. I think was it black or blue lipstick you got on one day or something?
You remember that one?
I remember that going, she's not really going to do that, is she? Oh, yep, she did.
And it scared the heck out of me, just telling you.
I enjoyed that more than the lipstick because just watching you freak out on camera while you were, I was like, okay, that's just awesome, right? It wouldn't have mattered what you did, but I'm like, she's actually having a meltdown on camera while doing it and laughing your head off. So it just made it so much fun, right? It's like, okay, you feel like, okay, Sandra, somebody you can reach out to and talk to and get to know. Now, for our viewer today, and I'm going to have you look right at the camera to talk to them, that is thinking to themselves that says, that's great for her, or that's great for other people. I want my own thing, but I don't think I can. What would you tell them? And is there like to give them some encouragement and then also give them like one tip, something they can do today to really help them get on the path to their dreams?
Okay. So if you're on the edge, right? If you don't know if you want to jump or not, if you want to hold back or not, think about what is your biggest dream? If you just have tomorrow, what would you do? Because this just opens up everything. And then if you have that feeling on your whole body, then you just can just reconnect with that feeling whenever you don't dare to jump. Because at the end, again, what's the worst thing that can happen? Right? Most of us, we live in a Western world. We have a lot of things. It's more, what are you most afraid of? Is it like what other people think of you? And as soon as you get rid of that and just jump, magic is happening. Just trust the process, because you will always be rewarded when you jump. That's my experience. So just jump. You will be richer when you do it. And the other one was?
One thing that
one
you
advice.
Do, yeah.
Okay, right now. Oh, there are many things. Right now, my tip number one, write down 50 things. 50 things that you want to have experienced 10 years from now. I invite you not to stop. Go through to the 50 things and be crazy. Enjoy the process. It will be so powerful.
I think I'm going to do that list of 50 things. I think that's a great idea. And Sandra, I mean, everything you've said today is so inspiring and encouraging. And I mean, you're living proof that anything, I mean, corporate job, left the corporate job, beat cancer. We didn't get into it. We didn't have time, but you ran marathons. You know, you've started your own business. This is not your first one. You're successful. You've built teams. You are a glowing radiance of health and happiness. So if you're afraid of thinking, I don't know if I can do it, just look to Sandra, watch this interview, follow her, get to know her. And speaking of which, where can people find out more about you?
On Facebook.
On Facebook.
Yes, Facebook is a great way to connect. So yes, and you get your daily inspiration dose.
Yes, and so we'll link to her page below in the show notes. So thank you so much for coming all the way out here. I appreciated it. And I was so inspired. I know our viewers will be inspired. And it's been awesome having you here.
Thank you for having me. It was so much fun.
It was my pleasure. And if you enjoyed today's episode, I would love to hear from you. Leave me a comment below and tell me what you found most inspiring today. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And if you have more questions or you need more help, then I'd love to invite you to join me in the free Living Forward Facebook community. That's where I come to you live each week with After the Episode, and I take your questions. It's a great place for you to network and grow your business and grow your contacts. All you have to do is hop on over to livingforwardcommunity.com, click the Join Now button, and I'll see you on the inside.